about 10-minute video describing what experimental documentary was.
Yeah.
Maybe a tiny bit of its history, really tiny bit, and then, but basically showing what it was. Look like. Yeah.
So an example.
So yeah, so then, but the entire video will be an example of experimental documentary.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then you and I were talking before about this idea of a zine, right?
Yes.
And so taking that one step farther from this experimental documentary.
Trying to create our own structure.
Mm-hmm.
Or playing around with a structure that already exists and applying a zine feel to it.
Right. Which, like, what would a zine feel be? How would you describe it?
Well, like a 2D zine, like an actual text zine. Mm-hmm. I think it's political, it's personal, and it's put together in, I don't know.
Well, and it has a real do-it-yourself feel, right?
Yeah.
Which I think too is what a lot of the experimental documentary. Maybe I'm not ready for the camera.
Come on! First thing in the morning, eh?
I know.
6 a.m. This is Betty. Betty's our new ride.
So, what we'll say is like in May, the end of May, then we left for Winnipeg. So or how about this summer we've set out. Everything's sounding really lame.
Yeah. So we left. We left to go on a trip to find like-minded women that were able to offer us something. Insight into feminism, I guess. I don't know. Insight into feminist collectives. Or art collectives, or...
Well, you know, I think it was supposed to be insight into collectives and collective working, but in a way, to me, so far, it seems like an insight into feminism.
Absolutely.
Do you identify yourself as a feminist?
I have a problem with this intention.
I just think it's really important to not be afraid of it, to not be afraid of the word.
You're trying not to, like the isms, like you're trying to get out of putting yourself into this box, and why are you labeling yourself when you're trying to get out of? I don't know if that makes sense.
Like an ism is sort of like it's like the pin in the back of a. Like their male colleagues, female directors may experiment with space, time, color, texture, structure, and other aesthetic or philosophical principles. They may pursue questions of epistemology, language, history, and all manner of phenomena that both implicate and transcend gender. In one sense, however, even the most formalistic experimental films by women can be viewed in political terms. Women engaged in such explorations make a feminist statement inasmuch as they occupy a different cultural space than that of their male counterparts. In the act of making movies, women remake cultural archetypes of their sex. Because they operate in the public realm, they strengthen their presence of a female subject who wields power in public space. By thus enlarging the public presence of women as cultural agents and representing women's subjectivity, all experimental filmmaking by women can be seen as constituting a coherent cinematic tradition and a powerful socio-political force.
Would you define yourself as a feminist?
Not in any kind of activist way.
Mm-hmm.
I think in my daily life, yes, but not politically, not...
Who's responsible for the signs?
We are. We had these people coming out, so they were our directional signs.
Okay, not appropriate for provincial park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And plus the fact that you're not allowed to have any kind of signs or anything like that anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Provincial parks are supposed to be kept natural and, that kind of thing.
And really don't need to hear anything about it. Not that we met the latter part, really.
Yeah, not so much.
There's a bunny.
Oh,
Sorry.
the white one? Oh. Well, I know, and I mean, because that's one of the things that really interests me is is about. I mean, it's the reason the blanket collective started, right? Is why don't people want to identify as feminists? Like, why? What's going on with feminism? And so it's been interesting, like trying to figure out why there is this disconnect or this breakdown between what feminism is and how people, because people, that's the whole "I'm a feminist but," right, thing, where or "I'm not a feminist but." I mean, little Freudian slip there, where people, they do identify as feminist, like they believe in feminist politics, but they don't want to call themselves that.
It's the F word.
Yeah, totally the F word.